thinking about others. He was a passionate guy. He was competitive. He's a guy who always set his sights on the NFL. But around the league, beyond that, this is not just how are the Bills and Bengals doing story in a sense. The whole league is hurting. I texted with Brandon Staley, the Chargers head coach, last night. He told me his defensive coordinator and his wide receivers coach were at Pitt. They coached Damar. His defensive coordinator, his wife was actually Damar's academic counselor at Pitt. There are teams right now, guys who know him from Pittsburgh, but just from being in the league, and everybody is hurting, and they're trying to compartmentalize emotions, which we see players put emotions to the back burner to just do this job. You guys know, to just do this job every day, to practice, to play, you have to suspend reality in a sense. And what they witnessed was that could have been me, not just my fallen brother, but at any moment. And that you're asking them to unpack, to deal with, and also compartmentalize to play on Saturday and Sunday. It is a very difficult ask.
The league did announce yesterday that at least as of now, no changes to the Week 18 schedule have been made. I suppose that doesn't mean they couldn't still make some if necessary, but as of now, there are 2 games scheduled to be played on Saturday and the rest on Sunday. And look, I've been around pro sports all of my adult life, but of course I was never a player. And so, Chris Canty, I can't put myself directly in the position of a person who has just witnessed, let's say, a member of the Buffalo Bills, someone who might be very close to Damar Hamlin, having just watched all that we just saw with him on Monday and understanding the situation that he remains in today, and at the same time trying to go through all of the necessary preparations to play a football game this coming weekend. It is remarkable. How would you imagine that is going there in Buffalo and other places around the NFL?
Well, I'm sure for those Bills players to compartmentalize, because on the one hand, they're concerned about Damar's well-being, but on the other hand, like Kmart said, they're faced with their own mortality. And we're not talking about football mortality. We're talking about their lives when they go out there and they play this game. You're faced with the realities of the danger of football in moments like what we saw on Monday night. But you have to also think about being accountable to your family, to the coaching staff, to your teammates, because all of them depend on you, and all of them have sacrificed, including Damar, has sacrificed to give you an opportunity to play the game that you love. And Greeny, these are always tough spots when things like this happen, because they become a referendum on football. And we're trying to chart a path forward, and players and coaches alike are having a tough time being able to process all of this. But ultimately, players want to play because they love this game. And so I think that's what has to be the focus in order to chart a path forward. That's going to be incredibly difficult without knowing the status of Damar, but I think that has to be the mindset for the players and the coaches in that building in Buffalo today.
Nick, you and I were together a lot of yesterday. We did this show, and then on my radio show a little later, and now we've had some more time to process all of this. Where is your head right now with regard to all this?
What just hit me while both Chris and Kimberly were talking was, we're all talking about how players have to compartmentalize. And yes, football players are quite good at it. We've all been on teams where things happen off the field and you leave it in that compartment and then you go to work. People lose parents, things happen like that, then you go to work. The tough thing about this is the Damar Hamlin situation is in the compartment. Right. Like, it was on the field. It is what they're dealing with. And you talked about how other people around the league know him. Whether you know him or not, right, you still have to go play football after having seen what you saw. So there's a lot of stress and, I think, trauma that guys are going to have to figure out how to deal with. And there's no time to deal with it, because Wednesday is the first day of the work week for football teams. And these guys, I think it's important for us to separate the football season and what's happening with Damar, because those things aren't impacting each other at all. But these guys, they really, they've committed to this, which Chris just said, they've committed to this, and now they're being pulled to engage with what's happening with Damar, but also there's something in them. And I know if I was in that situation, there's something in me that's like, no, but this means a lot to us. This meant a lot to him, and we need to do the best that we can. I don't know how they're going to do it.
No, that's right. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that at the same time, the health and condition of Damar Hamlin is overwhelmingly the most important thing here, but that the continuation of these guys and their goals that they've been working for since July are also important. And that's a complicated thing, D. Wood, and